In today's Consumer Alert, last week, J.P. Morgan Chase announced a security breach affecting 76 million households.
The company says customer names, phone numbers, addresses, and email addresses were taken, but there is no evidence account or social security numbers were stolen.
Still, this comes amid a slew of other security breaches and continues to raise concern on how to best protect your personal information. So joining us now, certified credit expert Chris Bridges. And Chris, it's sort of like, here we go again.
Here we go
Yeah.
again. And
Just
you know,
like clockwork.
even with the J.P. Morgan, they said that Social Security numbers weren't compromised. However, you can do some damage with the information that they did get.
Okay.
The emails and phone numbers and names.
To
So
what
that's still-
extent, though? Because I'm one of those who worry about, of course, our accounts information being stolen. But what can they really do with the phone numbers and email addresses?
Well, they already know that they're J.P. Morgan customers
Right.
or clients, so they can use that information potentially to go in and try to compromise their accounts. So it's just one more thing. I mean, unfortunately, I looked this morning to see did anybody else, had a breach, and of course there were some others that
Right.
are in the news this morning. But it's a matter of just waiting, sort of the information. I mean, it's something that we really can't control. It's more about protecting ourselves
Right.
than it is going to be about trying to prevent these type of security breaches from
Because they're
happening.
going to happen.
They're
Yeah.
probably going to happen. And it's not so much the company. A lot of times, in some cases, some of the retail stores, it may not be the actual company leaving the information out. It's the merchant providers that they're using. There may be breaches on that side. So it's a whole, different kind of animal than what we may be seeing.
Mm-hmm. And I think as we see more and more cases like this, consumers are becoming a little more savvy and aware of their credit. And I know one of your tips is always to check your bank and credit card statements. What other things, though, can we do
Absolutely.
in addition to that?
And that's checking it regularly. And then, of course, getting your credit report, looking at your credit report and seeing if there are any breaches. And not just once a year, but maybe on a more regular basis with one of the consumer monitoring services, being able to look at that. I would also say shred everything, and not with a regular shredder, but today they're so inexpensive. Get a cross-cut shredder that makes sure that the information has actually been destroyed. Also, be careful of what information we share on social media. We share everything on social
And
media.
so how could that expose you?
Yeah.
Well,
How
because-
does that jeopardize your credit?
Well, again, it's your personal information, and if I get your personal information and I know a little bit about what you're doing, maybe where you're shopping, you've been vacationing.
Oh, so someone has my
I see.
name and my address, and then they can look me up on
Absolutely.
Facebook and figure out a couple of more things about.
Absolutely. So we just have to be careful of the information that we're
Right.
putting out there in the public.
One of the things that I found interesting on your tip list was always being aware of the free Wi-Fi. It's got its
Oh, yeah, you
advantages. We're
can't
always
do
like,
that.
oh, it's free. We'll just go to the coffee shop. But it's basically advertising yourself to hackers, right?
Well, absolutely. And now with GPS technology and all of that, it's easy. I mean, I was using a GPS system, and one day I was driving down the street. It told me one of my friends was 5 minutes away. And I thought, I don't want to know where she is, and I don't want her to know where I am.
Right.
Right, that's
So
scary.
it's a lot of with the technology. It's not easier to breach us. And even with the Wi-Fi, especially if you don't have the right type of security on your computer to avoid someone from getting into your records. Absolutely.
Okay, lots to think about.
I know. It's like you have to just approach the world with a defensive position these days.
Absolutely. Just be careful and watch again the information that you're sharing.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Chris Bridges,
Thanks,
thanks so
Chris.
much
Thank you.
once
You're
again.
welcome. Thanks.